Spokesmen for science such as Carl Sagan 30 years ago or Neil deGrasse Tyson today delight in telling us about the wonders of the cosmos. It is fascinating, they say, but life is pointless. Why? Because we live on one arm of a commonplace galaxy among hundreds of billions of galaxies. Life on Earth formed by accident and evolved into us by chance. The spokesmen for science believe that the first cell formed spontaneously and morphed into all the millions of types of animals and plants that ever lived. Our thoughts and self-awareness are just brain cells firing. Everything is explained without a supernatural designer. When you die, you disintegrate, and that is it. The bottom line, life is pointless. There will be no reward or punishment. They are deeply frustrated that nearly half of Americans don't buy it, and only a small percentage of Americans believe the whole story. This briefing will show that people who reject evolution are right, using examples from 5 different kinds of evidence to prove that 200 million years that the theory of evolution depends upon never happened. A law of science is that everything naturally falls apart. Yet in their story, chemicals assemble themselves into the first living cell. 60 years of intense effort by biochemists has utterly failed to demonstrate this in the laboratory, but still the spokesmen for science have faith it can be done. They say it took 800 million years to morph from the first cell to dinosaurs to man. It is all based on dating volcanic rocks with uranium, thorium, argon, potassium, and other elements with long half-lives. The problem is that they are measuring how much of the original element is left in a rock, and there is no way to know how much there was at the start, or if some was washed in or out over time. The same goes for the other elements in a rock, such as radiogenic lead. Sometimes a volcano erupts, the rock is dated, and the result is millions of years when we know it happened recently. But it is important to know that long half-life radioactive elements cannot be used to date fossil bones and sedimentary rock. Biologists have long made it clear, as recently as 2009, that blood vessels and other soft tissue in buried animals would be totally disintegrated by 3 million years. So they were shocked when soft tissue was found in a Tyrannosaurus rex in 2007 and confirmed in other dinosaurs in 2011 and 2013. Dinosaurs are supposed to have lived 230 to 65 million years ago. If that were true, there should not be any soft tissue left in their bones, but there is. More was found in one of the horns above the eye of a Triceratops in 2013, and in the bones of a mosasaur in 2011, and in the embryos inside dinosaur eggs in 2013, and in a piece of dinosaur skin in 2013. This salamander fossil is supposed to be 18 million years old, but intact muscle tissue was found in 2010. Bone marrow was found in supposedly 10 million year old frogs and salamanders in 2006. In 2012, eumelanin, a biological pigment, was found in ink from 2 cuttlefish fossils supposedly 160 million years old. Remnants of eumelanin were also found in the feathers of 3 Archaeopteryx fossils in 2013. Carbon-14, or radiocarbon, is considered to be extremely reliable. Its accuracy has been verified by using it to date artifacts whose age is known historically. While an animal is alive, it takes in radioactive carbon-14. When it dies, the carbon-14 decays away over time. The amount remaining tells you how long the animal has been dead. Accelerator mass spectrometry is a technique to measure isotopes that has dramatically improved the ability to detect tiny amounts of radiocarbon in samples. It was first used for this in 1977. The University of Georgia has an excellent carbon-14 testing facility and pre-treatment protocol. The useful limit for accelerator mass spectrometry is normally about 43,000 years. Since 2010, that limit was increased to around 55,000 at the University of Georgia's facility. Carbon-14 has a half-life of only 5,730 years, so absolutely none should be left in a fossil bone after 1 million years. If dinosaurs are 230 to 65 million years old, there should be no carbon-14 left in their bones, but there is. In 1989, a team dug up a skeleton buried just west of Grand Junction, Colorado. It was an Allosaurus, a 40-foot-long carnivorous dinosaur. Here we see its upper hip bone or ilium being uncovered. These are vertebrae, a rib, and a tarsal bone that was part of a foot. A bone sample was sent to the University of Georgia for carbon-14 testing in their accelerator mass spectrometer. The result was a date of 31,360 years before present. In 2004, a Triceratops was found about 3 miles east of Glendive, Montana. Only a single femur was uncovered. It was wrapped in protective covering and sawed open. Samples were removed. Testing for carbon-14 at the University of Georgia in 2009 resulted in a date of 24,340 years before present. In 2004, a femur bone from a duck-billed hadrosaur was found in Montana. It was dated to 25,670 years before present. In 2007, a Triceratops skeleton was dug up in Montana. It was dated to 39,230 years before present. The remains of a carnivorous dinosaur called Acrocanthosaurus was excavated in Texas in 1984. In 2010, it was carbon dated to 29,690 years before present. In 2011, an Apatosaurus uncovered in Colorado was dated to 38,250 years before present. In 2011, a hip bone of a duck-billed hadrosaur was found in North Dakota and dated to 37,660 years before present. In May 2012, the brow horn of a Triceratops was uncovered in Montana. It dated to 33,570 years before present. Scientists who defend evolution are highly reluctant to test dinosaur bones for carbon-14. One is on record refusing to do it even when offered $20,000. So a group of retired professionals in science and education who challenged the theory of evolution, the Paleochronology Group, sent all the bone samples I just described to the University of Georgia's Accelerator Mass Spectrometer facility for testing. None of their staff were aware that the samples we sent them were from dinosaurs. They treated the dinosaur samples in precisely the same way that they treat any other bone samples, such as those from Ice Age mammals. The Paleochronology Group also sent dinosaur bone samples to other professional labs. So far, every sample tested at all the labs has dated to between 23,000 and 39,000 years before present. In 2011, a Swedish team found soft tissue and biomolecules in the bones of another creature from the time of the dinosaurs, a mosasaur, which was a giant lizard that swam in shallow ocean waters. They obtained a carbon-14 date of 24,600 years before present. So now we see why soft tissue survived in dinosaur fossils. The fossils are actually less than 40,000 years old. If dinosaurs lived in the time of man, we would expect people to have made images of them, and they did. Ica-stones are engraved stones found in ancient burial sites near Ica, Peru. Thousands are on display in a museum there. Pictures of all kinds display animals, fish, people, medical procedures, comets, and so on. They became famous in the 1960s because some of them show living dinosaurs, even dinosaurs and men together. Some fakes have been made, but they can be found out under close examination. Dinosaur images on the stones include features that were not known until decades after the 1960s, such as the fact that dinosaurs walked with their tails elevated, the head of Apatosaurus was elongated, and the skin of some species had round rosettes. Dinosaur designs are also found on cloth from Nazca, Peru, dated to 700 AD. A potter of the Mocha Society painted this dinosaur on a pot between 0 and 800 AD. This figurine was made during the Shang dynasty of China, 1050 to 1600 BC. This figurine is from the Hongshan culture in northeastern China, sometime between 3000 and 4500 BC. This cylinder seal from Mesopotamia around 3500 BC depicts sauropod dinosaurs, similar to the one on this vessel from the Ming dynasty in China, roughly 1400 to 1600 AD. This is a carving of a stegosaurus on the wall of a temple in Angkor Wat, Cambodia, built in 1186 AD. We call them dinosaurs, but ancient people called them dragons. This dragon head was a Roman army standard from the 3rd century BC. This dragon head is from the Eastern Han dynasty in China, about 200 AD. This tapestry in the Chateau de Blois is from around 1500 AD. The adult and baby dinosaurs shown here were called salamanders then. Over time, depictions of dragons came to be more stylized, but kept some of the ancient memories. This dinosaur skull was found in 2004 in South Dakota and called Dracorex hogwartsia because it reminded the paleontologists of dragons from the Harry Potter books, which were inspired by ancient European stories. Before 1841, the word dinosaur did not exist. British anatomist Richard Owen coined the word meaning great or terrible lizard in Greek. Before that, they were called dragons, and dragon sightings have been documented and recorded throughout history by eyewitnesses, and have been legendary in cultures all over the earth, from England to China. There are even references to them in the Bible. For example, it is easy to picture the animal in Job 40:15-24, which says, "Look at Behemoth, which feeds on grass. What strength it has, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron." Marco Polo wrote a detailed account in a book of his travels published in 1298 AD. The essence of his report is that in the province of Khorasan are seen huge serpents, 30 feet long and 8 feet wide. Near the head they have 2 short legs, having 3 claws like those of a tiger, and large glaring eyes. The jaws are wide enough to swallow a man, the teeth are large and sharp, and their whole appearance is so formidable that neither man nor any kind of animal can approach them without terror. There are others of a smaller size, being 24, 18, or 15 feet long. In the daytime, to avoid the heat, they lurk in caves, and at night they go out to seek food. Whatever beast they can lay hold of, whether tiger, wolf, or any other, they devour, after which they go to a river or lake to drink. There are human footprints and dinosaur footprints together. Some of the clearest were uncovered in the late 1960s along the Paluxy River near Glen Rose, Texas. The Taylor Trail is a series of 14 dinosaur footprints in a right-left-right pattern. A dinosaur walked in the mud, and shortly thereafter a human stepped in the dinosaur's footprints for 13 of those steps. The 14th step is beside the dinosaur track. As you can imagine, the scientific establishment does not want any of this to get out to the public. They have blocked us many times from publishing the carbon-14 test results because they know that evidence of dinosaurs living in the time of man will change everything by taking away the foundation for evolution and forcing science to accept an intelligent designer. The message from science does not have to be, life is pointless. We hope you can help us change it.